We live in this incredibly connected world, right? Global business is this massive web that drives so much of our innovation and growth. But, well, there's a dark side to it, a hidden world of corruption that can really rot an economy from the inside out. Today, we're going to take a look at the global playbook that's designed to fight it. Think of it like this. Every one of those connections is a transaction, a partnership, a chance for something great. But what happens when a company decides to bribe a foreign official just to win a contract? Well, that connection becomes toxic. And this isn't just some shady backroom deal. It's a crack in the very foundation of fair trade. So, yeah, that's the big question, right? When this kind of corruption is crossing borders, when it involves really powerful players, and it's all happening in the shadows, where do you even begin to fight back? It's a challenge that has stumped governments for decades. Okay, first things first, we've got to understand the stakes here. This is not about a few bad apples, and it's definitely not just a cost of doing business. The impact of this kind of corruption is, well, it's devastating. It sends these shockwaves through entire societies.
Just think about it for a second. When a big public contract goes to the company that paid the biggest bribe, instead of the company that's actually best for the job, public services suffer. It just poisons good governance. When money that should be building roads or hospitals gets siphoned off into someone's pocket, it actively hurts a country's development. And here's the kicker. It just completely rigs the game, making it impossible for honest companies to compete.
All right, so you've got this massive, stubborn problem. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD. They knew the old ways just weren't cutting it. So they came up with something, well, pretty groundbreaking. Instead of only chasing the corrupt officials taking the money, they decided to go after the source, the companies paying the bribes. So back in 1997, they created this landmark convention. And for the very first time, 44 of the world's biggest economies legally bound themselves to one single standard. They all agreed they would make it a crime for their own companies to bribe officials in other countries. This was a total game changer.
See, for ages, everyone was focused on the demand side, the official with their hand out taking the bribe. The OECD convention completely flipped the script. It was the first international agreement to really zero in on the supply side, the company cutting the check. Now, why was that so powerful? Because trying to prosecute a powerful official in their own country, that was often a political nightmare, a dead end. But prosecuting your own company on your home turf under your own laws, now that was a lever they could actually pull. It created a whole new, powerful deterrent.
But the world doesn't stand still. The bad actors get smarter, their schemes get way more complicated, and after more than 20 years, that original framework, well, it was starting to show its age. It needed a serious upgrade to keep up with the threat. And look, this update wasn't just some random idea they pulled out of a hat. The OECD's Working Group on Bribery had been watching this stuff for years, rigorously monitoring how countries were actually enforcing the rules. They gathered a ton of evidence on what was working, what wasn't, and what new challenges were popping up. That gave them a really clear roadmap for what needed to change. And this wasn't a rush job at all. No, this thing was a marathon, not a sprint. It started back in 2018 when the member countries decided a revision was needed. Then, in mid-2019, they kicked off this huge global consultation, studying a decade's worth of data. And all that careful work led to this newly negotiated recommendation in late 2021, a playbook really designed for the modern world of corruption. So what did they come up with? What's in this new playbook? Well, essentially, it's a modernized toolkit designed for the messy, complex world of 21st century corruption. It's a whole set of new strategies to help countries not just react to bribery, but to actually get ahead of it. The whole new plan is really built on 4 key ideas. It's not just about punishment anymore. It's a much smarter, more holistic approach. It's about boosting awareness to change the culture inside companies. It's about strengthening enforcement to make sure the rules actually have teeth. It's about protecting whistleblowers so that people feel safe telling the truth. And it's about giving companies real incentives to build strong anti-corruption defenses from the very beginning. So let's zoom in on one of these for a second. Strengthening enforcement. What does that actually mean? Well, it means countries can't just sit around and wait for a case to fall into their lap. They have to proactively go out and hunt for them. It means law enforcement in different countries has to work together seamlessly, especially when a bribery scheme crosses a bunch of borders. And, interestingly, it brings back a new focus on that demand side, going after officials who are actively asking for bribes in the first place. So, this new playbook, It's a huge step in the right direction. But let's be real, this isn't some mission accomplished moment. The fight against corruption is a constant, evolving battle. The threats are going to keep changing, and that means our defenses have to keep changing too. The work is never really done. And ultimately, it all comes back to this one simple but really powerful goal from the OECD itself. Every rule, every single investigation, every new recommendation, it's all designed to do one thing: create a global marketplace where the best ideas and the most efficient companies are the ones that win, not just the ones with the deepest pockets to pay out bribes. And that, really, brings us to the million-dollar question for the future, doesn't it? We now have a stronger, smarter, more robust set of rules. But rules on paper are only as strong as the political will to actually enforce them. The playbook has been written. The question now is whether the players are ready and willing to run the plays.